greatest city in the world. Welcome to the long-awaited home series. Look how close it is.
New York go up 2-0 over your reigning victors.
Look at that kill feed, man. This is disgusting from Atlanta FaZe.
FaZe, this is their moment.
Huntsmen can work on it, they can improve, and they can get back to that level.
Scum finds another one. He's still going. Huntsman, what a round. Props to the Guerrillas. You're going to Sunday, boys. An absolute rampage from Decimate right now.
No one is untouchable and no one is undefeatable.
It's too quick. It's too clean from the Royal Ravens.
Come in and dominate the respawn. The Røkkr light it up. It's all Minnesota in the kill feed. They've got a home. Røkkr, get it done.
You never know with Paris. If they get back to that form that we saw early in the year, this could go the distance.
Kismet, absurd plays to keep his team going.
Toronto Ultra destroyed them.
Toronto Ultra, get it done.
Champs is not that far away. What will our next home series bring us? We're gonna have to find out. Hello everybody and welcome to the Call of Duty League. We are back, baby, and we're here with the New York Subliners home series. We've missed you. We've missed you very much, YouTube, but we're back once again, and I've also missed these two gorgeous faces you're going to be seeing on your screen in just a second. We got Merc and Maven joining us, of course, to open the show. Gents, it's been a while, but it's nice to have you guys back. I see you're repping the New York Subliners merch that they sent you.
Yes.
Looking fresh, my friends.
Lottie, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on you to start the show.
Okay.
Who looks better in this new shirt?
I was about to say, I don't know about this. Oh, this is tough. Do I go?
I look kind of jacked, right? Like,
I tell you what, the shirt is doing you both favors. Can I say that?
Yes, you can say that.
Well, there you go. There you go. Joe, I haven't heard from you yet, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, we had a nice little break, but excited to. I mean, we have 3 weekends in a row, 3 tournaments in a row, a lot of champs news. So yeah, we're at the back half of the season. A lot of great storylines. The meta changes. There is a lot to get into this weekend.
Oh, there is, Joe. You're right there. We're going to talk right now, off the bat, about a hypothetical situation. Of course, why not? Just throw things in the mix here at the Call of Duty League. If the season ended today, this is kind of what it would look like. This is where the seeding is at. So my first question, Maven, is the winners bracket round 3 seeds. If you went back in time and you had to look at these two teams right now, would you be seeing them as the winners bracket round 3 seeds?
No, I think Mutineers were a lot better in scrims than a lot of people gave them credit for coming into the game. Like, we thought they had potential, but no, I think Joe and I, or any analysts or any viewers, would have agreed going into the season that FaZe, Huntsmen, Empire were probably going to be your top 3. So Mutineers being in that position is incredible. They've been on fire as of late, and yeah, I think they've shocked and surprised a lot of people for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to take a look at the CDL points presented by Game Fuel. And Joe, you know, is there any teams on this board right now? Of course, it's all about champs. It's about the seeding that you didn't really expect to be maybe at the bottom of the pile there. Who shocked you the most?
Oh, well, I think Optic Gaming is probably the big one at number 8. At least they are still top 8, but, you know, you have teams like Paris and Ultra who this weekend could potentially surpass them. And if I want to throw another team in there, probably Seattle Surge, just with the historic names on that squad, the vets on that squad, a rough year for them.
Yeah, it has been a seriously rough year for some of our teams.
Yeah.
And would you chalk that down to maybe chemistry problems, personal issues, or is it just coming down to skill levels, maybe not matching up with their teammates?
I think Joe worded it correctly in saying because of the names. I think there were high expectations because of the player names and their history, but a lot of them are at the point in their career where they're not in their prime. And we didn't actually have that high of expectations, so I'm not as shocked as maybe some might be, but yeah, it's tough when you just think of the star power in that lineup. You think maybe they would have done a little bit better for sure.
For sure. Well, a team that is doing a little bit better maybe than the start of the season is, of course, the Florida Mutineers. They have absolutely dominated the month of June. I mean, back-to-back home series wins. We haven't seen that happen before. And Mutineers, I think, have shocked the world and maybe become a new favourite for most people. Maybe they've actually made some new fans along their journey here this season. So, Joe, I just want to talk about the meta changes that we've seen come through. Of course, there has been a patch. And the last event we saw, Florida were clearly the best respawn team. Do you think that this patch may actually affect their gameplay coming into this home series?
Well, yeah, it's sort of the question mark of you're basically going to be seeing 2 ARs and how will it affect those teams. But for a team like Florida in their new pickup and Awakening, he's been great with the M4. That was really the change that affected them so much, was they needed somebody who could run the flex. And yeah, I think Awakening is just going to be just fine. It's just, how are other teams going to do? You know, you have teams like Chicago who now they're running 2 ARs. They should be a lot more comfortable. Can anyone catch Florida?
Well, it's interesting because like a lot of these teams, Lottie, when they were built kind of assuming it would be a 2 AR game. Like that's just what many expected. And then it wasn't. And now some teams try to like tweak the rosters to match, you know, having 4 subs for the most part. And now we're hearing 2 ARs. Maybe you're going to see 3 ARs on some maps. So it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure.
It is going to be interesting. Yeah, we'll have to watch out for that, guys at home. Make sure you have a look and see how many ARs you can count on the map. That'll always be fun. And of course, we have to talk about this Atlanta-Florida matchup that we have been seeing. It has kind of been the thing, the finals of the last 2 home series. They've met them both times, have beat them both times. I just want to talk about S&D though, because it seems to be like it's coming down to this S&D game. The first time Arklov, you know, it was Piccadilly. The second time, and Mutineers managed to see that one through. It has been quite dominant, and S&D for FaZe have been a definite high for them. And to see Mutineers taking wins off this, you know, top team when it comes to S&D, is that a little bit scary, Joe?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at the last final, the fact that they were able to 3-0 them, what FaZe was doing was winning those game 2s and extending the series, giving them another shot in the hard point. And you see what happens when they weren't able to do so. But for FaZe, I think it's just a wake-up call of, hey, there is a team as talented as you, as good at every single game mode as you, and it has to motivate them. So I'm just excited to watch this matchup if we see it again later on throughout this year. But Atlanta FaZe, they have another chance this weekend. Florida's not here. They are absolutely one of the favorites. I mean, we talk about them at times maybe struggling the last couple of home series, but the fact is they are still getting to finals, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about that. Maybe the worst that they can do is second place. That's kind of scary for other teams coming into champs very soon. But I wouldn't be too sad about that if that was me. Worst second place, not too bad at all. Let's just talk about what we're going to be seeing this weekend. Of course, we'll start with today. It's Friday, TGIF, guys. TGIF. We love a bit of a Friday action. We've got CDL for you. We're going to have a look at our bracket right now just to see where our teams and how the journey's going to go with our Group A and Group B, of course. Starting things off in Group A, we do have Toronto Ultra taking on Paris Legion. We've got FaZe taking on LAG. Let's see how that S&D goes down, guys. That'll be an interesting one.
Should be.
We've got London Royal Ravens in Group B with Huntsmen, and Subliners being matched up with Minnesota Røkkr. Talking about Legion and Ultra to begin with, because that's where we're going to be starting our day off, kindly, of course, with our US Army schedule on your screens in just a second. Looking at this matchup though, Maven, it's a tough one because, of course, Paris have not been doing so well. They've fallen off the wagon, so to speak, and Ultra have picked things up a little bit as well. We have seen a little bit of a different Ultra from the start of the season. So if you had to talk about this matchup and where it might end up at the end of this series, what would we be saying?
Well, what's interesting though is like Legion have owned this matchup. They've won, they're 2-0 in it, but like they haven't played since February. Like both those matchups were in February. That doesn't even count at this point. Like it means nothing in the scale of this matchup. And Paris Legion are 0-8 over their last 8 matchups, so they've been bad. There's no way around that, and Ultra have seemingly been, you know, improving in spots. So if you're asking me how I think we're going to be talking about this at the end, I think we're going to be talking about an Ultra victory. That's the way I view it.
Well, it could be so, Maven. If you're looking at the stats, then I guess you definitely got a bet on there. We're going to talk about the game field keys to victory right now, though, and I'm going to start off with you, Maven, just as you're talking about this Ultra team. What have these guys got to do to seal the deal?
I think all 5 players, they need to have strong individual performances, and I think this almost applies more to this team than others because of this roster, this like 10-man roster, it's been people in, people out. Like Kleenex comes in for Classic, now Classic in for Metals. Like there's been what, 10 team changes to this point for them, even though they're all on the same roster. So it's even more important, like even more important than like, I guess that goes with this point, like have strong individual performances, but like they need to find that chemistry quickly, right? Like you're doing this plug and play system with these guys, like being able to click and all perform well. It's not easy to do. And I'm excited to see if they can do it this weekend. And maybe this will be the best roster we've seen from them.
We've got the game fuel keys to victory for Paris Legion right now. Joe, what has this team got to do to get out of this rut?
Well, we talked about the meta, and maybe the meta will help these guys. Dens has been great as a main AR, but you add that second assault rifle, put it into Luca's hands. Maybe he could play a little bit better, but the fact is you need something from a little bit of everyone. I mean, it's just what you need. These guys are struggling. You need a hot start, and if the slaying isn't there, you have to focus on the search and destroy, because that's what we've seen from teams that have been struggling. Can you extend those series? Can you take it to those game 5s?
Well, we know one thing for sure. I think Toronto Ultra definitely have a good chance of winning that hardpoint gun runner, because they have done it every time they have faced Paris Legion, but that was a long time ago. Have they got a chance here, Maven? Looking at this maps and modes, is there any way that you see them taking a couple of these games? If not, maybe, well, I don't know, game 5.
I think to the point Joe was making about search and destroy, like we talked about this a lot on our podcast as well, like this is one of the few titles I can think of, and Joe, you talked about this really well, that it's like your most controllable game mode with how this game plays and respawns and the coin flip and the strong sides. Like S&D is where you're most controllable. They need to improve there. That's where maybe they can start to see some success.
Well, gents, I'm going to leave it in your more than capable hands, because I love hearing you cast. And to start things off on Friday, it's going to be Maven and Merc, so take it away, lads.
I've got big, strong hands, Joe, and I'm ready to go. It is time now to dominate.
Okay.
Well, she said our capable hands, and I just, I'm feeling powerful, Joe. I've had a lot of caffeine today. I'm ready to rock. Ultra Legion, let's get it going. I don't know. I'm definitely favoring Ultra in this matchup, but I am excited to see if Legion can get off of this kind of skid they've been on. And how do you? I kind of want to ask you this in the pre-show. We just didn't have time. Have you ever been in a position of your career where you basically haven't won in months? Like, what did you do?
Well, I think, like, it's a difficult question, and it just becomes around, like, do you truly believe your team's a contender and you try to stick it out? But that's really not the case with Paris. Typically, it comes down to a roster change. That's the easiest thing, right, is making roster changes. Toronto's been going through it. We've seen it across the league, but they have stuck with this 5-man roster.
So are you very surprised to see that?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. I mean, I guess I love it because they're going to try to work through those adversities, and if they come out better, that's great. But it's just the question of, can they come out better?
Well, I guess if they can sneak into the top 8 and make a run at champs, everything's fine and dandy. If somehow they're able to do that, but struggles for Legion early, not able to get any points on the board yet. Zed is trying to get in a position to make some chaos over towards Depot. Hasn't been able to get in yet, so Ultra get all the points in the first hard point, and they're set up nicely for next. Now, as we hop through the loadouts, we'll kind of talk about the M4s getting thrown into this, but there you saw it. Luca did have the M4 in hand, and there was a point with this team where they made that switch, right? For like one event, because Luca wanted to try it out. Din swapped off it, and now we'll see if both having it ends up being strong for them.
Well, I think it's just a matter of we need Luca to play a little bit better. We needed him to play at a strong level as he finds 2 kills. They're able to break on through to this hill, and maybe this meta helps, right? We talked about that's what most teams, how they built their roster. So, and now with the MP5 nerfs coming in, especially that 10mm mag, the M4 is a very do-it-all weapon.
Yeah, well, talking to Priest and some of the players too, it's like a combination of the hit to the MP5, and then the fact that they're now playing on 60 hertz, and when you're kind of pre-aiming, ADSing, holding an angle with that M4, there's a better chance that first bullet's going to hit. And it just leads to faster kills and maybe pays off a little bit of rewarding for good positioning with an AR, but it's 4 straight kills now for Ultra. They're enjoying what's about to be a 50-point advantage through 2 hard points. Legion only 12 points on the board, battling it out here at Minecart.
Yeah, Zed trying to fly through that smoke, go for a big pinch. But Kleenex and Classic, Cammy, the triple C combination coming through. But it's going to be Luca, the last man alive, who finds 2 kills, going to put that trophy down. And we've seen over the last few home series, this has really been a hill where teams have gotten 40 to 50 points, like more than what we typically know is like our money hills. Like when you talk about depot and warehouse, teams have gotten much better at minecart, and this has really been the difference maker on gunrunner.
What do you think the single biggest change to hard points maybe going to be by seemingly slowing down the pace a little bit and adding an extra AR?
Do you think it's going to slow down that much, though?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably not, I guess.
I don't think it's going to slow down that much. I just think that the M4 is very much you're capable of fighting at every single range. It's not like what we saw last year with the ICR, where
That's true.
if the solid automatics were in front of you, you were probably toast. The M4, it has the fire rate, it's got the damage.
We'll see if Legion can turn those kills into time. Shocks at 11 and 9. Now 3 in a row for him as they look to eclipse the 50-point mark and make a run. Over at Cargo Boxes, they're doing a fantastic job. We'll see if they can get the kills, then maybe get the flip as well. That could be a big run for them. Luca with the shaker, not able to finish the kill, but there's the beams into green. Follows it up on a Bance, but not quite able to close out the kill, thankfully for him. Shocks in position now for the trade as they're trying to push through, but Shocks is 5 in a row, not quite enough to do it.
Yeah, but you've given up a lot of time here if you're Toronto, and this has to pay off. This is a big investment as we get into our final hill of the first rotation. They're getting set up, and it's not like they have a lot of position outside of the hill. We've seen this from teams at time to time, but they just sort of try to stay close. They're going to take the fights from inside. Vance, though, able to use that M4, finds his 3rd in a row. Now just trying to get position. He's able to find another one. Vance with the M4. The man can do it all. Has the help of methods. Has dead silence if he wants to use it. But it looks like the early investment paying off as they find 5 kills.
Do you see the kill feed there? I think it was Cammy, Methods, and Vance, all with kills with M4. So it was 4 straight M4 kills. They locked it down there massively. Huge hold to extend this lead yet again. And well, that's one thing I was kind of wondering is a lot of times when we talk about how many ARs are going to be on the map, most of the time it's kind of map dependent, but sometimes it's hill dependent, right? Like you'll see a class switch and he might have picked it up off the ground, but curious if, you know, trying to hold that early setup, if maybe they pulled out an extra one. But look at the streaks now for Ultra. 5 in a row for Bance, 2 in a row for Cammy at 18 and 11, Methods 4 in a row as well. Are certainly leading at the slaying column, and there's an example of your do-it-all weapon. Yeah, it's still good at close range.
Yeah, we talked about Dent and how consistent he's been in. Now that he's going to have sort of more M4s to deal with, struggling throughout this first rotation, 4 and 11. Still only down by 60. Methods, though, with a big gunfight win. We know at this first hill, it's tough to get some time. See, Paris is focusing on those spawns, and they'll be able to push right through. But yeah, I wonder if, yeah, it could just be hill dependent. But it seems like you've seen Vance and Cammy a lot of the times with that M4 alongside Methods.
Yeah, I mean, that's... I was playing with... I think it was Skies that was joking. When I was like, so you're going to see 2, maybe 3? And he's like, I don't know, man, you might see 4. So I was like, all right, well, let's see how this weekend goes. But yeah, going to be a lot of M4s in the mix, that's for sure. The lead holds at 70. 10 left to go on the hard point. The Legion, you feel like they have to have a good hold here. Down big. They've got the early spawns. Can they reap the benefits of this now? That number 7 in Kismet's pushed up pretty far. He should be able to catch some people on the cross, but that's not going to happen. He's going to get smoked by Cammy, and now the purple arrows start to surge forward.
Yeah, he's still going to get the close spawn, but he hit spawn kill. That's Cammy who's able to win another one. That might spawn Kismet out. It does. Doesn't spawn him out far. He's going to be close to bathrooms, but it's going to open things up for Toronto as they work towards the top side of the minimap. Cammy not able to find his 3rd kill in a row. But this is fine if you're Paris. You can at least flood the hill. It's not being contested. Still a chance to earn some time. But Vance able to find that M4 double kill to open things up.
Yeah,
so yeah, it looks like they're running 3.
Yeah. Even if you're stunned, you can hip fire at a close range as well.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Ultra do get in. So where you thought Legion might chip away at the lead, it looks like it's going to stay right around what it was, right around that 70-point mark as we go to the picture-in-picture, and you can see the setup at minecart is also Cammy now through on the bench. Cammy winning another big gunfight to get in position here and hold this angle. There's a second Zed evaporated. Give him the 3rd. Shocks put to sleep as well. Cammy on an absolute tear. The M4 in his hand, a weapon of destruction.
Yeah, remember we were talking about it. We're like, man, which team is this really gonna help? But it could help every single team, right? It really could. It's just gonna be like, you know, that's how they built these rosters. So I'm sure Cammy, it seems like he's happy to run around with his M4 a little bit more.
Yeah, what did I say at the tail end of Hardpoints? Like when I looked at every roster, I was like, I think they all would get better, but like it's who gets better than the other team's better. I was like, how much do you improve behind it? But yeah, it just goes back. Teams were built for more of this kind of meta. Well, maybe not 3 or 4, but for sure 2. But what a game Cammy is having. 28 and 17, 194 to 115. A dominant effort so far from Ultra, and I think at least what I expected going into this series. Is now Classic looks to soak up the remaining couple of seconds, get some shots in on the cross. Not quite able to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to the slang, right? Just right now, like Zed, you know, we know he plays a very tough role, and if you're running into... So here's the thing. If you're going to run 3 M4s, really what we talked about, at least in past Call of Duties, if you're going to run more ARs than subs, is you typically have to get set up, really. Like what we saw in Warehouse, when they're able to just lock down lanes, and when it comes down to is your ability to break with those M4s, right? Because the other team, close quarter combat, they should be able to win that. But Paris, if they're not holding on to those early rotations, that's when players like Zed are going to struggle, because they're going to have to continue over and over again to run into multiple M4s.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but for Legion, it's just been Luca and Dens, right? Like, I don't think I've seen anybody else with it out, so...
Yeah.
And I'm sure on a map like this, you can make both work. I think Ultra might just be the better team right now, but the 3 AR setup is absolutely getting it done, as they're now about 20 away from closing out this map 1.
I mean, it's almost like every single time a patch comes through, the meta changes, a new game comes out that we switch to. A lot of the times it just comes down to, can you figure it out first? Who is going to figure it out first? And, you know, there's probably some teams that are watching like, 3 ARs on Gunrunner worked really well for Toronto. Maybe we should try that today in scrims.
Well, it's interesting, though, because Legion kind of one of those teams that did learn pretty quickly. If you think back to early in the title, I mean, they started out, I think they were like 6-4 in their first 10 matches. They were one of the, maybe not top teams, but, you know, they were in the conversation early in the game. Once everybody caught up, though, now 0-8. But I guess maybe I would have, I kind of guessed that maybe this would benefit Legion. Maybe they'd adapt a little bit quicker, but don't have it right now. Unless they pull off this comeback, which they're starting to do right now.
Well, you just saw there at Warehouse, they had the early rotations. In a lot of those fights, you favor the MP5. They're able to lock that down, lead now to 40. They're getting some early time, but there it goes, 5 down. And now Toronto can slow things down. Every single second counts, right? At this point, when you only need 20 more.
Legion have got to go. They've got to try and get in, somehow extend this to another hard point. Cammy's POV, he's been the melt machine throughout the course of this game. 35 now on the board, looking for more. Kismet about gets smoked, but he's able to hit the shots, and that's probably an example of maybe a range where the MP5 is a little bit tougher to challenge the M4, but he's able to hit him. Now Vance goes outskirts, trying to get this flank in, shut down as many as he can. Legion players in front of him. And it looks like we're at least going to see one more hard point, but unfortunately for Legion, it's Ultra on the rotation.
Yeah, they're going to have to go. They're going to have to go soon. Big gunfight wins by Dens. Zed is going to get in. Nice shots. Able to play his life. Has to get the reload through. Now he's got all his teammates with him. Classic and Kleenex, though, locking both doors down. Just playing their life so well, and well, they're going to deal with all 5. Nice teamwork out of Toronto Ultra. 2 more seconds needed. It's going to be a flood through the front door, and that is going to be game number 1 for Toronto Ultra.
I thought Legion had a chance there for the break, but
they did.
Classic and Kleenex, they hold it down. Yeah, at one point I looked at the minimap, it's like a 4-on-2 for Legion, but Classic and Kleenex, you know, I don't know if you want to call it drama or whatever went down before the last event with the swap. Now they're playing together, and what a great little duo ship that was to get it done. But 30 from Methods, 36 from Cammy, 32 from Bant. Some big numbers coming out of several players on the Ultra side. And there's the map 1 win. I think Lottie said the 2 times they played this, even though it's back in February, that's where they were able to get their map wins, though.
And those are the 3 players, right, that are all running the M4s, right? Yeah, we'll see it here. Like, all of them have over 30 kills. Still a solid game out of Kleenex and Classic, but that's just going to be the discussion, and it's just going to take some time, because I think the MP5 with the 10mm rounds, it was, I mean, you could challenge the M4 mid-range. You just could. We saw it. You could basically try to take every single gunfight without how strong it was. And now it's a lot of, how do you get out of that habit, right? How quickly can you get out of that habit of challenging every single gunfight? It's almost like I think about last year with like the Sogs, right? A lot of the times it was them just playing their life, waiting for their teammates to watch over them, and then they can make their plays. But as soon as they got into those areas where the Sog was great, they would absolutely fry. It's just a little bit more difficult getting into those spots.
It's closer to what we expect from a Call of Duty title. One of the funniest tweets I saw, I can't remember what player it was, but sort of said like, the MP5, we had a chance against M4s at range. Now there's no chance. And I was like, well, yeah, isn't that what it should be? Like that's how it should be. Like, you shouldn't be able to gun an AR at long range unless, I mean, yes, it happens from time to time with some crazy shots, but that leads to even more positioning, you would think. But now let's take a look at the U.S. Air Force quickscope before we get ready for the search and destroy between these 2 squads. You can see where they sit. Both teams trying to make a run into the top 8, avoid that losers bracket round 1 matchup at champs. Overall, I mean, statistically, they're very, very similar. I just think the big difference is the wins for Paris came early, the wins for Ultra came late. So that is the thing that it stands out the most. One team's been improving, one team has been on it's like a nosedive. Like they've just been struggling massively. You can't look past the 0-8 record as of late.
Well, and I think even for Toronto, like after that semifinal, things have been a little bit messy for them. After the semifinal, they go 2-out. Last event was a little bit different, where they lose game 5 to FaZe. They lose a 3-1 in New York. 2 very solid teams, but it's not like we've seen one semifinal. We've seen one good home series for Toronto. It's just been been in the past 2 months, I guess.
Yeah, but they're winning some series, I guess. But sure. yes, they're not getting to finals or semifinals consistently, sure, but I would take their results over Legion, I guess. I guess was my point. But there's a look at the Toronto Ultra roster: Classic, Kleenex, Methods, Cammy, and Bance. The 3 AR strat on map 1 pays off, and I don't know. I've been excited to see Kleenex get into this roster. I know you've said it so many times, but we were really excited with his gameplay at Champs last year at the end of Black Ops 4. Thought he had a lot of potential, and now it's his chance in the limelight. Can he help them maybe get into the top 8?
Yeah, and he's really been like, when we watch the Warzone weekends, he's been nasty. So that's where we've seen most of his highlights, at least for you and myself. But yeah, here's a look at Paris Legion as well. These are the same 5 we talked about it throughout that game 1. They have stuck with it all year. And this is what I'm a little bit nervous about. This is where I think we talked about their search and destroy has to be a little bit better so you can extend these series. Because when you're losing and losing and losing, it just feels like the series is over before it even begins. They have to get a map win going.
It's crazy when you think about like the teams that haven't changed, because you have what? You have FaZe, you have Empire,
sure,
and you have Legion. So you have teams that have won 2 tournaments or consistently getting to grand finals, and then a team that is 0-8. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But part of me like kind of agrees with your point earlier. Like I kind of want it to click. Like they obviously are putting the time into making this work. A lot of times teams get flack for making changes too early. And I know maybe we're past that point for these guys, but I kind of want it to work. Like I want to see them put the work in and improve, but obviously in a hole early in this series is Luka tries to hit the snipe and the cross, not quite able to connect. Smoke out for Ultra as they'll get in towards the A site.
And we talked about the MP5 nerf, but don't forget that HDR buff. We'll see how that comes into play. What is it like? It's a one-shot kill, basically. From like,
I don't know what the lower torso means, Joe. I still don't really understand it.
I just imagine it'll help them out. The snipers are probably, Westgate's probably happy, so we'll see that next game. But
less hit markers.
Yeah, we saw it. Toronto hasn't played this map at all, so 0-0. We'll see how they are in their first game.
Yeah, I think one of the things I saw when we took a look at the maps, and none of them had a winning record on any maps they're playing in this series, which there won't be a lot of that for them, period, with how the year's gone. Yep. But we'll see if Legion can make this 4v5 offense work. Shox gets some info, and he's going to have to dip out immediately. Classic just kind of holding the push through Hazmat. There's the HDR. Luka's able to hit the shot, bring it to a 4 versus 4.
That opens up A. This is all on Bance. What plays can he make? Able to find one. Now just trying to play his life. Watch that clock. 5 seconds to plant. Finessing back and forth. Finds the second. Finds the third. He does it with M4 in game 1. He does it with the MP5 in map number 2.
What a play from Benjamin Bance. 4 locked down at the A site. A moment of brilliance. And you nailed it, Joe. This all comes down to Bance. Well, he was ready and waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great snipe. It opened up the site. That player was really the first rotator over towards B. Or sorry, towards A. In Bance, well, he just held it down.
Basically a 1v4 from that spot. Insane stuff from Bance. I think we may have found our scuff play of the game in the first round. Cammy now hits the shot on the other side. That's going to be what? Back-to-back first bloods for Cammy. As Ultra once again will have numbers. Where do they look for their next opening? Defensively, you've got
this
3 players from Legion today still.
This map has actually become one of my sort of favorites to watch, right? Just sort of how early do defenders rotate over towards B. You can see what the offenses try to do. They try to force those rotations just like that, because then Shox, he basically gets caught in the middle of the street and they can just sort of take their time. But we've seen where that clock can really play against you on offense. A lot of teams not able to get that plant down.
Kleenex, can he find an opening? Simtex over the top, might have split 2 players. They still have numbers though in the 4v3. Kleenex looking to get to the God box up over the top. Doesn't get the timing, but his teammate Cammy able to hit the snipe. Now spots Dens. He tries to maneuver for the angle.
It's over.
Bomb
It's done.
planner is going to get dropped unless they can hunt down Dens. This is done. Dens tucked away in a quarter top apartment, and Legion get the victory.
And yeah, it's a 3 versus 5, but they wait so long to converge on a site to use their numbers, and Zed is able to find that player. And then it's just yeah, have we seen Dens at all? Where do we think he is? They're not able to get the plant down. A much needed win for Paris.
And we've seen that a lot on this map. I mean, God, I remember when we first thought FaZe was struggling, this map is what really stood out, right? Like when they just they were never getting bomb plants. They were always so late on rotation. Their offense looks so slow. It's hard sometimes here to pick where you're going to head, but look at the numbers from Cammy and Bance right now. They have all 9 of their team's 9 kills. Legion, I believe, had like 3 or 4 kills, but still 1-1. Just due to the scenario of that last round. Classic can't finish the kill, but the Simtex does go through, so that'll be Zed down. 4v4. They're working Riverside, just trying to get up towards Hazmat, this B-bomb. Peeking it as Kleenex gets a kill and gets away with his life. They couldn't get the trade. That's massive for Ultra.
Yeah, that was huge because Classic and Cammy were playing basically a mid-map setup where they were trying to lock down that restaurant. The B site was open. Kleenex realizes it, just trying to play his life, and he doesn't over-challenge. He doesn't get picked. Just trying to buy time because now that clock, it comes into play once again. Well, Shox, I don't think he knows. There's only 1 player back there, and he could move up to the site. But here comes a fast rotation from Toronto.
Everybody now here in the one corner they don't check. It's Classic tucked away in a pocket and 2 freebies as they rotate out. But time once again the villain. This time it's Legion on the receiving win and 2-1 advantage to Ultra.
And I actually thought like Cammy, I just don't think they expected Classic in the same position as Cammy because they were trying to just play around, maybe flanking towards A, putting a lot of pressure, finding early picks. But with Cammy going down, I think they thought that restaurant was probably open. Typically that player backs all the way up to B towards Hazmat, but that doesn't happen. Classic's able to make it a 4 versus 4, and then he never loses that position.
Well, let's see what Bance can do towards mid. What he can do is jump into Luca's bullets as Luca's position pays off. He will get stunned. They'll try to push for the trade, but it's not going to happen. 2-man advantage now for Legion. Can Classic be the difference maker? He's got Luka to his left, and right across from him in the top window holding is Zed. He just can't get an angle on either without opening himself up to the other player. And there it is.
Trying to take his time, but yep. Luka locking it down.
.30 seconds to go. Kleenex and Cammy in a 2v5. Bomb down opposite side of restaurant. Not a whole lot they can do. Maybe go for a couple quick scopes. Unfortunately for him, there's 2 players here. This round is done unless Kleenex, probably going to get himself off the map or something. There's just nothing he can do from this spot. Nice defensive hold from Legion. And, well, for Luka and Zed, a nice little setup there at mid-map. They had their crosses on the angles. And they're able to get the W.
Yeah, much cleaner than what we saw from, last round from Cammy and Classic. But really a similar setup because you lock down mid-map, you know they're not going towards that B site. You can really have 3 players inside A. That's exactly what happens. And Luka continues to define those picks.
Well, they tie it up. Now can they get their first lead of the game? Can he hit it? Ah, just a second late on the cross. Smoke works for Ultra. And they'll get into A again. Shox is going fast. And now he's got Trophy out towards the mid pillars. If anyone wide peeks here, he might just be able to melt him. Probably an insta trade there from mid-map, but we'll see if Shox can get the opening. And it looks like they're worried about this mid-map pressure. Somebody spotted him or hurt him.
Well, it's just which corner is he in? Where's he at right now? Classic setup. Not sure where that was going for, but Kleenex misses that nade. And the problem is, I was going to say, he was going to try to cross. Now he's stuck in a bad position. 25 seconds, though. The clock comes to play once again. Which side are they going to go for?
Oh, they're waiting on Luka to hit the snipe, and he's able to do it. Now the chaos ensues with little time to work with. They've got to go. Soaring in towards Hazmat. Defensively, it's Cammy that's going to have to make a play. Cammy has backed it up. Can he get it done? Dead silence. Pop has to stop the plant, but it's Zed with the beams. Ooh. There's the round victory. Cammy wins that one-on-one. Maybe he can dip out and stop that plant from going down, but Zed wins the gunfight. Oh, hello.
And you see, yeah, you see what these offensive teams are doing, right? Like, they're just trying to catch the players who are trying to rotate back to B. Really, the key player there is the fast trade on the Classic, so he can't slow down that push. As soon as they have the same amount of numbers, they know where majority of those players are, and yeah, Zed goes huge. He wins that one-on-one, wins them the round.
Nice read, because yeah, I believe Cammy had Deddy Pop.
Yep.
We should have some early pressure this round. Kleenex somehow gets away again. The pick, the finesse, and now Zed right outside his doorway, but another first blood for Ultra. But they're trailing in the game. That smoke doesn't cover the full cross. He might be able to get... I think he was YYing. I think he was swapping weapons and got caught.
Yeah. It sure looked like it, but I just don't think he expected the players to push right through, or if they would be able to see him. He was just trying to play a little bit sneaky, maybe hoping a player opens that door, whatever it is.
It helps to have your gun out.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, it's a bad habit. We've seen it happen to a number of players. That is for sure.
Looking at you, Kenny, for a entire year.
What, Kenny? Yeah, I think Pharaoh's another one sometimes that happens too.
Can Ultra work the numbers? They got to deal with Shox in the back. Another one is backed up as well. It's going to be Den's in a position. Shox able to hit the shots. Can they get the trade through? Kismet in position as well. As one more rotates over. 2v3 now. The bomb is going to get planted. They're both going to get dropped instantly. And another round win there for Legion. This will put them 2 rounds up at 4-2. But man, this is... it's just looking so hard for the offense right now.
Yeah, and I mean, early on, it was offensive success, right? I mean, typically, based on what we've seen, I would say offense has the advantage because the defense is put in a lot of tough spots. And what has been working out for these teams, it has been the mid-map control. So we'll see how teams on offense deal with that. Because if they're able to get that mid-map, you can control the arches and really decide which bomb site you want to go to. But mid-map control has just been so big.
I feel in this map a lot of times the offense, like, I don't know, there's a lot of chaos early towards the A side, like a lot of pressure, some big hits. Like everyone's been playing kind of passive on offense for the most part. And he's just coming down to the clock. One more chance for it. Again, slides under it. Luka, he's given free haircuts all map long. Pushed up into restaurant though for Ultra is classic. As he's gotten here. I believe he popped Daddy to get here fast. I don't know if they're going to have any idea he's already in this position. And he can hear them stomping around. Make call-outs on the rotation.
So much information given. He's also got help as well with Cammy. Well, there's more information. So now it's over to Bance and Kleenex. As you imagine, this should be an A arch hit, and that's what it's looking like. This is not an easy site to hold down with only 2 players here.
Well, unless you're Benjamin Bance. But a little bit different this time.
Yeah.
Or is it? There's the
now
first kill.
Stuck.
No, it's Benjamin Bance. He will make the play.
He's got a trophy?
He's got a smoke to get out of this. You never doubt Bance. He's a playmaker, Joe. Gets out behind the smoke. Now re-peeks against the bomb carrier. Snaps. Oh, I thought he had another one, but Luka able to trade it with the pistol. Classic there, though. Shocks wins the gunfight. There's the trade for Ultra. As they'll bring it to 3-4. Bance once again makes a huge play. Nearly another highlight there if he takes down the third.
And all he's doing is buying time, because while that play is happening at pillars inside the site, you had Cammy and Classic who were working the flank, and they found the one player that was lurking from Paris. So Cammy, as soon as he gets that kill, Bance methods, they just back up, they play their lives inside a B, and they know the pinch is going to come through. They have the numbers advantage. So you just have 2 great plays on both sides of the map.
Well, we are on round 8. I think all Vance's skills are basically in those 2 rounds. He's got 7. I think they're all literally in those couple of rounds. Another snipe for Luka.
I think that's the low torso, Clint.
Yeah. That looked like the
maybe. I don't know.
That looked like the low torso to me.
Yeah.
His low torso just got shot off, Joe. Never to be seen again.
I think so. I think it's a one shot now, yeah.
Can Bance be the hero again, this time on offense? 40 seconds to go. They've got to make a move. They're grouping up towards the A-bomb. Kismet and Shocks ready and wait. Can Kismet finesse from this same position? Might not need to. Luka hits his 2nd snipe of the round. Luka hits his 3rd snipe of the round. Shocks with the headshot as well. Suddenly it's just on Benjamin Bance, and he will get dropped. Luka picks them all apart, and a crucial 5th round victory there for Legion.
And you can just see, yeah, their offenses have just slowed down dramatically. They're not fighting over mid-map. And a lot of the times what we see, I would say at least one offensive round from some of the good Petrograd teams that we see is a very fast A push, right? Behind a lot of smokes, you get that bomb site control. And what does that force the defenses to do is right off the start, send 3 players there. So mid-map and B are open, but that just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. I feel so bad for our observers on that last one, because I think you make the right call. You go to Kismet, kind of the point man on defense. Then Luka just comes in and snipes everybody. But Zed gets the first blood behind the dead silence, now trying to fly. They make any more of a disruption that he can. We'll see if they can close it out here behind the first blood and tie up this series at 1 apiece. Minimap looks a bit outrageous right now as Cammy has pushed through.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's like they had the A site, sort of, but then Ultra pushed through. Luka's all the way back in spawn because he doesn't know where that guy went. Now should be the call out to Ultra that they're here at the B site.
Well, they should have known a while ago. Yeah, I mean, Cammy and Bance were inside of A. You have Zed holding down that rotation, and he's just trying to buy time. They have to find Classic and find him fast, and I like that repositioning from Zed. He probably knows the corners that he's in, but he's just wasting time. But can Classic be the hero? He's able to find another one. They have not gotten the trade onto him, but here comes Zed. He's watching that rotation out of A. Now we can get involved with his teammates, but Cammy, he works the flank. Finally, you take down Classic.
Plan it now. Cammy gonna have to clutch to 1v2. I think he just spotted both players.
About to get Deddy as well.
Just gotta wait on that. Might not matter unless he can finesse away. Just gets away. Now dead silence to work with. 30 seconds to go. One stun. Deddy's popped. Ugh, he gets seen on the cross. That's not a fun challenge.
Yeah, no. Especially with the nerf.
He thinks about it. He's like, I'm not taking that. And he's just trying to chase him down. There's the first on to Zed. He's got to go. He knows where Denz is positioned. He's just going to stick it. He's just going to stick it. Denz has got to go. Denz has got to go, and Denz gets the kill. Legion get the win. Some sensational rounds from Legion. Honestly, the only rounds that Ultra really won were like, what, the two where Bance had insane plays? They get really one round win out of that, but truly outplayed really every sense of the word. Nice job there from Legion to bring it back.
And that's what they needed. That's what we talked about. Get some confidence under yourself. You get a big game out of Luka with 12 kills. A nice, a few big rounds from him with the sniper. But yeah, it's just extend these series. They've been a pretty solid dom team. And when we talked about Paris early on throughout the year, it was like how good their dom was. So you get to this domination, but you at least guarantee a fourth map, and I think that's important for them.
Well, it's interesting now because I think we're going to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. I would have said it'd be Bance, but then they lost. Like, he had that crazy four-piece in the A site, but let's take a look at one of the big moments then for Paris Legion. I think we're going to go to round 5, and it's got to be, I think that Zed gunfight win, what a huge point this was in the game when they're tied 2-2, and he just has the read onto Cammy, wins the gunfight, and they get the round win, but it was a big one.
Yeah, they get the fast trade on a Classic. Cammy, you can see it. That gunfight right there by Zed. To read that rotation, to watch that bomb site, that's all they needed. So a big 1v1, it gives them the round advantage. Able to win that offense, that just opens up so much more for them.
And that's a bit of what we talked about. Like, Respawn, it feels uncontrollable at times, right? Like, search and destroy, it might be where you have the most impact, the most control in this particular title, and there they get the search win. Big game from Luka, hitting all the snipes. I don't know how many he had in the game, but it seemed like he had 6 to 7. Monster game there, tied 1-1, Dom up after this quick break.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day with the #1 brand in prepaid. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The United States Air Force. Learn more at airforce.com.
This is your Scuff Team of the Week, a super team built with 5 of the top performers at the most recent event. This week, we're picking 5 players from the Paris home series. First up, it's Celium of the Atlanta FaZe. The Paris home series marked Celium's 5th Grand Finals appearance of the year, and he continues to make noise as one of the best players of the entire league. Celium played his usual in-your-face style, scoring some of the highest total kills and damage of the entire field. Celium's weekend highlight came in FaZe's match versus the Toronto Ultra during group play, when Celium broke the all-time CDL Search and Destroy kill record, scoring 18 kills by game's end. Second, it's Awakening. The Florida Mutineers' victory marks the 2nd championship in a row for Awakening. It's also only the 2nd CDL event he's ever played. He's not just some rookie getting carried either. Awakening had the best overall KD of any flex player this weekend. He also had the 3rd highest hardpoint KD, just 1 spot under his fellow Florida and Scuff Team of the Week teammate, Pharaoh. Pharaoh had the event's 2nd highest KD and the highest average hardpoint kills of the field. The Paris home series marks the 3rd event Pharaoh has won with the Mutineers after joining the team in Week 4 of the Call of Duty League. In addition to his stellar hardpoint performance, Pharaoh was also a leading slayer in domination. Pharaoh had one of his best domination games in Grand Finals, going 31-12 on Hackney Yard to close out the series 3-0 and win his 3rd title of the year. Yet another familiar face in the Mutineers jersey, it's Skies. With his 3rd title of the year, Skies has quickly catapulted his way to the top of the league's AR power rankings. This marks the 2nd event in a row where Skies has led the field in both respawn and overall KD. His domination KD has been astronomical as of late. During the previous home series, Skies set the event Dom KD record at a 1.81. This week, he secured 2nd place for himself with a humble 1.75. Finally, it's Mac of the New York Subliners. The Subliners are still struggling to clinch their first CDL title, but they've shown incredible improvements ever since they added Mac to their lineup. Mac continues to show an aggressive presence in both respawns and the S&Ds. He dealt the 2nd most damage of the entire field and earned the event's 2nd highest KD in Search and Destroy. That's your Paris home series Scuff Team of the Week.
Welcome back to the New York Subliners home series event. We've got back-to-back weekends of CDL action. Taking a quick look at the bracket and how this is going to play out. The bottom side looks terrifying, Joe.
Yeah, Group B is it's something. It's something. It is something down there. But up top in Group A, I think while we have this match as well, something I'm actually looking forward to is FaZe versus Guerrillas, just especially in that Search and Destroy. And I want to see. I think Guerrillas has a really good shot of getting out of this group and making a semifinal. Can they continue to improve?
Yeah, we'll see if they'll be able to do it. But with the focus now back on our series, we're going to take a look at who's on the hot seat. Now, this is going to be picking one player from each team that maybe need to step it up for their team to find some success. Right now, we're looking at Kismet and Bance. Here are their overall stats throughout the course of the year. Bance has had the edge. I think Bance has been improving as of late, and just in this particular series, Bance has been solid, right? He puts up 30 plus in the first game with the AR in his hand. I think he was like 8 and 7 in the last game despite the loss, but Bance has been strong.
Yeah, and then on the side for Paris Legion Kismet, it's just what we saw early on in the year. He was a star. Like, he was putting up some insane numbers, and then things slowed down. So for Kismet, he's an aggressive player. You know, he's going to be in the mix alongside Zed, alongside Shock. So someone's got to come out on top, and I think a lot of people look at Kismet to be that person for Paris.
Let's see if he can get back to maybe like all-star form where he can lead this team with his SMG gameplay. But you can see both teams kind of talking through things heading into this map 3. We're staying on Petrograd.
Now, Paris on this map, I talked about their dom. I know a lot of their domination positives come on Gunrunner, as you look at this one, 1-4 on this map, but 0-2 for Toronto Ultra. So yeah, we talked about there's not going to be a lot of strong maps for these guys, but maybe this is a shot for Paris.
We'll see what they can do off the break. Is Kismet? Well, he was going to be our player to watch, but he is capping the home flag, so we'll hop right off of him. Over to Classic now surging through mid-map, maybe trying to put pressure on that A-cap instantly. Kismet is here, up over his head goes Classic, but Kismet with the read finds the kill and will defend that home turf. Basically everybody inside or around Restaurant for Paris Legion, they've got a layer around mid-map as they look to get this B point secured. Kismet and Luca will combine to stack it. Methods, though, just sees enough of an angle to take down 2. Cammy there on the crossfire as well. B was almost secure, but not quite finished.
Good thing is they got majority of it capped, so it took some time. So Dens can find 2 kills. They had to clear majority of it. It bought them more time to find those kills, and now they can sort of fight over map control. I was going to say, with no trophy on it, didn't look like they had many players watching over them. Methods was able to find the angle. That's what I want. You want a little bit more aggression towards their side. It looks like Shox is finally able to do that, but you see how close it is. Vance again with that M4 able to go big.
Well, now it's Toronto's turn. They're on the point. They're trying to rebound from a disappointing Game 2 performance. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with Toronto Ultra.
Oh, he's in the corner. Dead.
Double that, double that, double that.
Needs to get capped.
Yo, he came up on the line.
Dead line.
Line weak. Set. Just one shot line.
Line, I think we'll
two left. I spawned out.
They're going
to
Wait, one's mid-street. Kismet mid-street.
They're wrapping back then.
Yeah.
I spawned back C.
4 on B, yeah. Nice, one more. Nice, Nick. Last guy, you can hop that.
Where's he lying?
Ambi, Dens. Ambi, dead.
Nice.
I've got water. Make sure we got P1 a week.
Hey, what's P1?
Oh,
he's
one's L. I've been double naded. I'm probably dead, yeah. One's L. Hey, no. Oh my fucking god.
I want you top here. Oh, P1. Just try.
I spawn P1, boys. Oh, I'm going for P1 a week.
Go for it.
Water
Water tree heavy, I think. Guys above has. Give me cap.
Give me one or two.
Yo, behind me.
Yeah, I'm top P1.
Yo, he's going C.
Go and C, run back. One's two top blue, got one, got two, one's double D's, boys. Double D's gone mid-street. Mid-street to B. Double D's dead.
Double that, bro. On B, he's on B now. Is that smoked it? Just smoked it. Zed, we're looking for
Where are they spawning?
Zed.
Nice, I'm top blue roof, boys.
Yo, get P1 right now. I'm heavy right now. Yeah, I'm laying down.
Top blue, nice. I'm one shot.
Two, top blue, really weak. I just got mid-street.
Mid-street on this well, Nick.
Yeah.
Top bull, Dens, one shot.
He's mid-street.
Run away.
They're alive. You're right
taking up mid-street.
Beat on weak. One shot.
Whereabouts was he B-dom?
There's two blue cord.
B-dom, one shot, look at
Top 12 now for Ultra. Classic got that 4-piece onto the B point. That was crazy, though. When they peeked top window, it's like the entire Legion team standing on it. Oh, it was nuts.
That was nuts, but I will say, I mean, you had a very good setup there by the Ultra, but it was a nice break from Paris. They're able to break through. I think it was Luca on the B flag where Kama, he got taken down for that 2-piece for Luca. That opened things up. He immediately gets on it. And what could have been an opening for Toronto to break that lead wide open. Now Paris in control of this 2-cap. Now they can put some pressure on C.
Let's see how Ultra try to get out of this trap, because they are not in a good position. That should be an insta trade for Zed. Able to get the kill. Kleenex is trying to work up top street, but he should be in trouble here shortly. There's the angle now for Zed as he's on 5 in a row, looking for more top hazmat. The hip fire hits. No Merc 4 grip, but doesn't matter there.
He got the Merc 4 grip on that.
Zed now on a tear. That's 7 in a row for Zed, as this top apartment has become his playground. And I think I saw like 2 think about pushing him, then they're like, nah. Well, Cammy's gonna take his shot with dead silence. Guess what? Peekaboo, I'm still here. Zed at 14 and 6 now, just running through the lineup. Pushes out for potential neutral. I don't think he had a lick of aim assist there as he was whirlwinding, but finally does get the kill. Can't get the neutral, but Zed goes off at a big moment in this first half.
That moment right there. Is this Superstore? Where are we? This is St. Petrograd, right? Yeah, the guy just lost control there. But still, this is what I was talking about with Zed when he's able to get himself in those positions with the MP5. I mean, how many M4s did he fight there? So, a nice play by Zed. A great turnaround for the Paris Legion. They're going to have a lead going into that second half. But man, Zed with the big plays. And now you go into that strong side where you start on C.
And it was what? I mean, we came out of the listen-in. They were up Ultra was up 13 or so, something in that ballpark.
Yeah, right. It was double digits. Yeah.
So a really, really big swing for Legion to close it out. But yeah, maybe our pregame stuff. Oh, this is it. This is from Classic's POV. They're like, there's 4 of them on it. He just hits mid, gets everybody. Great play there from Classic, but unfortunately it kind of went downhill shortly after that for Ultra. Into the second half we go. If you're just joining us, this best of 5 is tied 1-1. It's first to take 3 maps, and we're in the big swing game of domination here in game 3. As Zed's looking to get aggressive towards A immediately. He's gonna wrap back into restaurant now. Bance is stabbing people. Now Bance will get shot in the back, and Zed I thought was gonna get away, but Kleenex able to chase him down.
Yeah, talk about being on the hot seat. Bance is he's had some big plays throughout this game. Having another game, his methods. Something went wrong for him. A car blows up. That's gonna open up this B site. Kismet is just gonna run through that smoke and find another kill. They want to try to get inside a restaurant. Make it difficult for Toronto to get him off B, but not able to do so. Who is it? It's Bance again. 15 and 10 with this M4. In a great position, has the help of Kleenex. You have one player who's pushed all the way through C. That's going to be Method, so Dens has to back up. What does that mean when you back up, you're able to get B?
They get B. Their A cap gets neutral, though. Cammy with a good read, but Luca hits the shots. Every other kill in the kill feed, though, is Ultra, but they're 2 cap right now. And look at the minimap. Everyone is kind of all over the place. They've got to deal with stuff on both fronts. Zed was doing a good job holding for Legion at that C point, but as he drops, that might be 2 cap control back to Ultra. But as Cammy drops mid-map, the neutral comes in for Luca. As they get out towards B, as the chaos ensues.
All right, so at the end of it, you've just switched home flags. So I think that's a good overall play for Toronto. I think Methods was the player that snuck through the bottom side of the map and went on towards C. What happens? The spawns flip. It gets a little bit chaotic. After everything, you have the 2 cap again. And guess where Zed is?
Yeah.
Up top. Inside this area once again.
Maybe it works out for Ultra if they have B, but you saw Legion hold this setup very, very well. This time, they're at least able to get Zed out of his palace a little bit quicker. Now comes the push from Ultra. Dens ready and waiting on the side, but everybody else goes big for Ultra. Methods, Classic, Cammy. They get all the kills around B. There's the control. Now a chance to really do some damage on the scoreboard, trailing by 15. We're down to the home stretch. Final 2.5 minutes to go.
And what we see a lot of the times when teams have a very good CB hold is they really control Riverside or top side of the map. And then they force the A spawners, you know, to almost go towards that first hard point. I mean, that's where you would love them to spawn, at least back pool. We just haven't seen that. It feels like Toronto hasn't put much pressure towards this side of the map, and that allows Paris Legion to get inside a restaurant. Zed and Kismet, they're able to clear the map once again, and you're just not able to lock it down.
The submachine guns just went massive for Legion. Kismet, 3 big kills around front restaurant. Now Bance tries to make a hero play of his own. He's already dropped 2. A little slide cancel onto the 3rd, but Zed, too tough to take down. Kleenex gonna work the neutral. He's able to finish that quickly. Can they get the secure as well? They've got multiple people on it. They're just able to get away. Down 11, minute 40 to go. Still very doable for Ultra. Zed, dead silence popped. A little bit left in the tank, and maybe that's a kill a couple weeks ago, but it's not a kill now.
That is 100% the nerf that we were talking about. And there we go. They're able to clean things up. Cammy's gonna get aggressive with dead silence. You can see they know they just have to lock this down. They don't have to overextend for much, but you want to keep some map control. That's why you have Cammy in that position, Bance in that position. Now, what are Paris going to go for? Looks like it's going to be a C hit. I like this. You got a smoke coming out. Zed nading over his teammates here. I mean, it was a good route, right? I mean, he caught it. Touchdown, but that's your teammate.
Made it right over him. A little too over him. But Kismet still here for the neutral. I think it's Methods that's able to get the kill as he wraps back to stop at C. 137. Lead change now to Ultra. Not much time to go. Legion have got to win the fight to mid-map. Instead, silence for Bance. Doesn't see him lying prone by the table, but Cammy is top window. He can wreak havoc on this front line of Legion when they try to move towards the point, if they can even get in that position. Now they come. It's 3 players pushing forward. Cammy is lying in wait. They've got to deal with him first. 5 in a row now for Cammy, locking it down top. On the other side is Classic in position to shut down the C neutral. Ultra do it in the final 60 seconds, and they'll run away with this map 3.
Yeah, they do it in the final, minute or so, but it really is just a play where they're able to flip the home flags because the CB is just so much easier. You can see the difficulty that Paris has. They're able to get out of it in the first half, and that's why I thought it was a big deal. The fact that they had the lead after the first half, that first round. But you saw they went for a bit of desperation where they send 3 on the flank. They try to use Zed's smoke to get through. That gets shuts down. It doesn't help, obviously, that team nade comes in. But it's almost that last minute was, all right, what are we going to do here? How are we going to try and get out of this? And they're just not able to do so.
And Bance, we focused on him going into this, and we've talked a lot about him this series, but another great game from him, 27 and 16 from him. Classic back in the lineup does a great job there, map 3 as well. He had the awesome 4-piece on the B cap as well, as we'll check out the stats, but just a really good series from Bance so far. On the other side of our Who's on the Hot Seat, Kismet, 20 and 25, had some great gunfight wins, had a couple great moments, especially at Front Restaurant when he got 3 kills, but the team can't take it. And really, I mean, Shock struggles, he's double negative. Luca's in that ballpark as well. And once again, like, what did you have? You had 3 M4s coming out of Ultra, at least at the tail end of that. And for Legion, it's much more heavy on the MP5 side. So it's sort of back to that map 1 too. I know this is a whole lot closer, obviously. It comes down to the final moments, but you're seeing a lot more variety, at least in this matchup, with what people are running.
Well, and I think, though, there was multiple instances where you could just see the advantages that Paris did have, right? And when they had the 2 cap right at the end of the first half, when Zed's just up top, like that is the advantage of running, 3 MP5s compared to 3 M4s. But as soon as you have the hold, it makes it that much more difficult for Paris to get out of it. So, it was really just a couple of, different performances. But I still think the major play is the fact that they were able to flip to C as early as they did. That was methods. And the fact is yes, it caused some chaos. And yes, they ended up losing the B flag, but they were able to retake it. And that was really the key play for me.
That's a lovely breakdown, Joe. I'm going to say that right into my mic for you. Great stuff, though.
Thank you.
Great win there from Ultra. I believe we're going to take a look at a tweet from Zed, though, kind of talking about maybe a lack of respect for this current Legion lineup. And yeah, I'm sure it's been tough. Their mentions on Twitter have likely been tough, but let's read this. If I rock FaZe, people run away from me. I wear Paris gear and people run towards me. All right, well, yeah, that's maybe he's talking about Warzone. I'm not sure what he's referring to.
That's 100% a fact. I will not lie. Like, that is very much true. If I see someone in a Paris uniform, that is correct. If I see a FaZe uniform in Superstore, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I'm getting slide canceled and I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, that is 100% factual. It is very true. But obviously, those two teams sitting at very opposite sides of the standings currently. Legion, though, now 1-2. Can they bring it back by taking the hard point and the search? We know they can do it in search. They did it in map 2 convincingly. Really, for me, it comes down to this hard point.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I think it was Zed who was talking about it a while ago, but it was like, you know what? I feel like when I play well, like my team's just not winning, right? Like he's the first guy in, and there's another example of it. He has a great game, but everyone else struggles and they lose.
They can't take the map 3, even though they're so close to doing it. But just a refresher on our schedule. Huntsmen, Ravens up next. Guerrillas, FaZe, then Røkkr, Subliners. 3 matches that could be great. I mean, Ravens, I think, have an absolute chance to upset Huntsmen. Guerrillas, if it goes to the search and destroy, they can upset just about anybody, especially with how FaZe has been playing as of late and going to Game 5 with everyone. This might be the one team that beats them in a Game 5. And then for Røkkr, Subliners, I don't know. Røkkr, you got to think they're going to bounce back at some point. I don't know. I guess I've lost faith because it's been a long stretch now.
Well, I think if you look at the meta change with multiple M4s, those are probably 2 of the top teams that I think that this helps the most.
Should improve.
I think you get temp. I think you get temp on an M4, and you finally get a star performance out of him. And I think the more you can have GodRx with that weapon, we've already seen what he can do with it, the better for Minnesota Røkkr. So that should be a fun one to watch because I think the new meta helps both of those teams tremendously.
It'll be exciting to see. But before we get to those matches, into the map 4 we go. Hackney Yard. We'll start off with Ultra. They'll be on the preferred side, the strong side, to kick this off, and should put themselves in a good position early in this game to close out this series. The pressure on Legion to make some magic happen early. And look, they're just all flying up mid-map. They're just all going mid-map. They're going for the wrist. They're going for the flip.
I don't know if they're going for the flip, but they're just trying to go through the middle hop-up. Yeah, they're going for the hop-up. They're just trying to cut it off. But I think it was Kleenex and Classic who go huge. Yeah, I don't know if they're pushing all the way through.
You're right. I thought they were going to at first. When I looked at the arrows, I'm like, they're flying. They're going for it. But yeah,
yeah. They know as soon as they get a kill or two that it's those spawns are going to be towards that back parking lot. But it's just to try to flank that back door and do the middle hop-up. But the players inside the hill go big.
Legion goes big, then off the respawn, though. They'll get right into the point. And you've got to really get the rest of this time. You need every single point. So important. Because you know you're about to get smoked at the next hard point. And so far, so good here.
Unless someone makes the play. Yeah, we've seen it. It's rare, but yeah. It's like a power play, dude. That's what it is.
It certainly can feel like that. Well, I'll tell you what. Legion is about to face one of the more difficult breaks in the history of Call of Duty as they try to get into tire shop. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with Paris Legion.
Kill him. One's top. He's like on the. He's top you. He's top you.
Oh, yeah.
Dead.
Drop
down cop.
I'm
gonna smoke green window, so we can't fucking. You can't peek it. Push down.
Top on the P1, guys.
Then anything
green side.
One P1 now. I'm saying it's gas. Stacks as well.
Classic P1 dead. Got me.
Methods milk. Back right tire.
He's behind the white crate.
Shoot one shot off spawn. They can't get out green, yeah?
Yeah,
they nated me. One's on the police car now. I got one. One more cop. I can hold green. Everyone else can go over.
One more dead. One more.
One's scaff. Methods. You're gonna hit tires. They're hitting tires. Nothing on me green. He's milk on me. Milk. Two milk. I got one.
I'm gonna help you pay one. I'm top right now.
Still milk.
Top scaff.
Hey,
he's on me dead.
Top scaff.
Nice,
Nice, good job. I'm going mid.
Ready to pay one. One P1, kill me.
Time. Oh yeah, I got it. Got all the mid. They have to P1.
P1 dead. That's good shit. Oh yeah, another one. I'm helping you.
One more. Shooting me from top park.
One down. Two. One in P1. No, another one in P1.
I need a bottom.
One top. I think.
All P1.
Go on. One more P1. Two P1.
Yeah, I got it. He's on green. He went long route.
Well, not bad for Legion right now. They're only down 14. It's not as lopsided as we've seen for the most part on this map through these first couple hard points.
Yeah, that was a very good hold early on at Smokestack. You forced Toronto all the way through P1. I think you had Zed, who was top green, and as soon as he gets taken down, things sort of open up for Toronto where they're able to break through. For Paris, they bounce back. They find 4 kills. Now they're starting to earn some time, but you can already see their setup for this office hill. You're going to have, well, Luca gets taken down, but you still have Dens inside. Can he make a play? No. Classic and Vance win early on that rotation.
Yeah, so what was that about their setup?
It went away.
Yeah, it went away very, very quickly, and now Ultra get into green. There's Cammy trying to watch the push over the half wall. Dens, you might have just got horrible timing, but Dens holds, so Cammy will still be in a position to maybe get something done. Vance's POV now is him and Cammy working bottom. They've been able to shut it down. The bait and switch and the trades have been on point. Vance now slides out and snaps onto another one. Make it another 1-4 in a row now for Vance before Methods blows him up.
And this is great time. And now what was that 14-point lead? I mean, very quickly up to 60 points. Well, with 12 seconds left, we'll focus on that rotation to the far left side of the mini-map over towards Docks. Paris have a position now. Have those early spawns. You're going to see Zed just sort of rotate over the hill. But I feel like teams have gotten, you know, obviously Tire Shop, very difficult to break, but it feels like teams have gotten pretty darn good at breaking this one.
Well, let's see if Legion can hold it. High. Tucked away behind the door. Almost turns it into 2. The swarm is there for Ultra, but it looks like the swarm has been shut down for now. Legion doing enough to hold on. 40 seconds to go on the hard point. It'll be just about a tie game. They'll bring it back if they can do this. Now can they somehow, through the next hard point, flip for Tire Shop will be the big question. that they opt to give this up over the final 15 or so and work the flip. You see at number 7 and Kismet already starting to work out. Everybody's starting to leave outside of Zed, but everybody from Ultra has backed up. You've got a 2v2 kind of on the top right side of the minimap, but as a teammate falls, it's all going to be on Zed, and he's not really going to be able to play for the push and the flip.
Yeah, Toronto played that very conservatively. It's almost like, you know what, we'll let you have this one. We just want to guarantee tire shop. We'll send one push at it. That's what they did, and then for the most part, you basically had 2 players playing safety on these walls, which you still have from Classic and Cammy in those spots. You're getting early time on this first hill. Dens with some nice shots onto the ankles of Methods.
It's funny how different like the Docs pushes look early game versus like late game, because that's like the hard point that like decides the game in a close one, right? Like when it's like chaos around it. Not quite the chaotic pushes early in the game because you don't want to risk those spawns.
Hello. There's 4 people inside the hill. Didn't expect that one, did you?
Well, they'll bring it close again, but now where you might find your separation again is behind Tire Shop. If Ultra can do a solid job yet again, they'll be in a good position to close out this game, but Legion have kept it so close. Now the Tire Shop pop. What can Legion do? Here comes the push. Vance able to hold at least early. Methods on the crossfire as well. Den's trying to find any point of entry. Not able to take down both. And they just keep going 1 for 1 for 1. Unfortunately, that's not going to be good enough. You got to get multi-kills, and there's the multi-kill. Luke is able to take down 2. The pressure now building a bit around the front, but Kleenex doing his best to hold on to these spawns, hold on to the hard point. Methods from top building, able to shut things down on the cross as well, and Ultra have done enough to hold on.
Yeah, we're like, here we here we actually go. Zed's trying to make it messy, but really what you're just trying to do is get to those front brick walls, get into this position if you're Dens, and just continue to cut off the spawners, and you're hoping that a player like Zed, a player like Kismet can make a play on the hill, find those 2 kills, and just make things messy. We know you're not going to flip those spawns. It's almost impossible to do so. You're just trying to keep them off the time for 10 or 15 seconds, then you can make it up elsewhere.
Yeah, they got them off for probably 5 or so.
Yeah. 5.
Yeah. Cammy now with a lovely double. Looking to hold the Docs push towards Smokestack. They've got the angles on the point, so no time going to be coming in for Legion. This is where they really brought it back last time. Right now, they have not been able to do it. Cammy gets 5 in a row before he drops. If you can chain together Tire Shop and Smokestack, a lot of times that is going to win you the game. Legion will regain control, though, with just under 30 left to go. But it seems like every time they get in, somebody from Ultra's got the angle to clear them out.
Well, we saw it the first time through. They're trying to get set up early for Office, but Toronto, just the 2 of them to break it. And this is big time for Toronto as well. These 10-15 seconds will put them up towards 225. And 25 away from closing this series out. We've seen some miraculous holds, though, inside of Office. And a lot of the times, maybe what Toronto's thinking is just don't lose the spawns. So they sort of let up a little bit, just so they can get set up at Docs so they don't lose 2 hills in a row. They're confident they can close it out there. But you see, 5 kills in a row. Zed now set up at Smokestack, but here comes the push.
And if they can get to Docs, this is where you're going to see what I was talking about. There's going to be no concern over holding spawns for Tire Shop. Everything, every resource, every push, everything will be soaring towards Docs to see if Legion can get the break and somehow pull off this comeback. Zed going nuts, as that's now 3, a triple there for him. The multi-kill will pop up, and this is going to be a close game going for Docs. It's all going to come down to Legion trying to get this break. Cammy from up top. Top Smokestack looking to hold any kind of push from mid-map or the old hard point. And now here's
Classic's
the transition.
Position is so good too. Yeah, Classic just slowing things down. But they're able to find 3 kills. The smokes go through. Here comes that push.
Here we go. Everything being thrown at this now for Legion. They've got to get in and make sure Ultra can't close out the game. They're pitching from both sides. There's 4 kills. Last guy in the point is going to be Bance. He's going to get dropped, and there's the break now for Legion. They can't win it here, but have they done enough to maybe see another hard point? The numbers continue to flow in for Legion. They've got the parallel spawn, and they've gotten in. The problem usually by doing this, you're guaranteeing you're going to lose that tire shop spawn, but will it even matter?
Look at Denz, though. Look at Denz. Look at Denz's position. He's already getting inside this first hill. He's going to have his teammate Kismet helping him out from top L if he can buy enough time.
Oh, my God.
They're winning it on both fronts right now.
They're doing what seemingly is impossible. You don't see it often. Finally, he's going to drop. He wasn't able to hold it off long enough. Zed, that would have been such a big one. He would have been able to flank and get the push in. 237 now, 237. Ultra inside. The last desperation break for Legion is here. They've got to go, and they've got to go quickly. 4-man push now on the pinch. Dins for the backside, but he's going to get caught. 3 kills through for Ultra. Ultra have done enough, and there's the 3-1 victory for Ultra. They do it all through the respawns, but what an effort that was from Legion. If Dins could have maybe somehow stayed up a couple more seconds. He died, what, about 5 seconds before the next hard point popped, and then who was it? Zed that had a chance to get a big one on the push through the flank?
Yeah, hey, but I will say, losing by 13 and losing both tire shops, like, you put together a really good rest of the game.
Legion won that hard point. Yeah, Legion won that hard point.
Oh, they did it, but like, yeah, they put together a very solid game. From Hills 1, skipping 2, and the rest of them, they probably won. You are correct.
No, not probably. They absolutely did.
No, they won.
It's got to be a tough loss, but they look good in the search and destroy. Just can't quite get it done there. I mean, think about how competitive it was outside of map 1. I mean, map 1, they kind of get blown out, but it's a 10-point domination. It's a 13-point hard point as we look through the stats. Legion looked really good in some moments, but overall, Ultra take it 3-1, and they'll move on within their group, at least on the winner's side of it.
Yeah, but you look at those stats, what I was talking about. You are getting good performances and respawns out of Luka and Denz with that M4. Well, Denz in game 1, he struggled a bit, but much better in this one. And then for the Toronto Ultra side, yes, Methods has the great numbers, but I think Classic had almost as much damage as him with that MP5. So just, you get Classic back in the lineup. He was in such good form before he was, sent to the bench once again. Now he's back, already making an impact.
In both hard points, I believe it was 3 M4s versus 2, right? I think you got 3 on maps 1 and 4 from Ultra, 2 on the other side of it, and I don't...
Even Dom, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I just don't know if the wins are a testament to that or the testament Ultra's just the better team right now, but it's interesting nonetheless to see the difference there between these two squads, and that is 9 losses in a row now for Legion. That's tough. Let's take a look at the scuff play of the game now as we go through and see some of the best moments from this map 4, and looks like we're going to be taking a look at the final moments. And Zed there, that bunny hop from Cammy was just nasty. Yeah. It's not easy to hit those shots, especially when he's like flying from top, has the momentum on the second hop. Like he just went soaring. Not an easy gunfight for Zed at all.
And it's not like, okay, so Zed loses that gunfight. It's not like, really what we're saying, if he wins that, what happens to the setup inside of Toronto is maybe somebody freaks out. Maybe somebody has to turn around, and that's when something opens up for the Paris Legion to break. It's not like he was going to go through, get all the kills on the flame. Somebody was going to pick it up, but just having someone to rotate back and worry about him, that's all that kill does.
No, you're absolutely correct. It just creates some chaos, right? But if the season ended today, just a reminder, if you missed it in the pre-show, where everything sits. I don't know how much movement we're going to have, but we still have, 3 home series left, all in back-to-back-to-back fashion. And God, I mean, it feels like there is definitely a chance for maybe something to change between kind of the final group and then your winners bracket round 1 seeds. It seems like there could be some movement, but I don't know. I guess if there's much switching around in like the top 4, I don't personally care as much. It's just, it's all around those bottom 4 for me. It's all around that if someone can move.
Yeah, and well, I mean, Optic, they just announced their new players, so A lot of pressure on them, but yeah, can Guerrillas, can Ultra get into it?
Well, coming up next, it's going to be Lottie. She's sitting down with Kleenex for an interview. We'll see his thought. He's the new guy to Ultra. Excited to hear what he has to say, but what a brilliant win there from Ultra. They take it 3-1.